Hello, I'm Aisha Subarkar, bringing you news from around the world in 2 minutes. Let's begin. The Syrian government's air force has conducted 200 airstrikes across the country over the 24 hours, killing 92 civilians. The strikes came shortly before United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon told the UN Security Council that using only military means to combat ISIS could lead to further violence, urging for a political solution to the conflict. The Assad regime began a crackdown against protesters seeking democratic elections in 2011, which marked the start of the civil war. Now let's go to Iran. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has blamed Western powers for the rise of ISIS militants in Iraq and Syria. Iran and the United States have been adversarial for decades, but now share a strategic interest in reversing the territorial gains of ISIS. But cooperation has been blocked in part by the fact that Iran and the U.S. backing opposing sides in Syria's civil war, where ISIS is among rebel forces fighting President Bashar al-Assad. Our next story takes us to Sweden as the operation in search of the underwater threat entered its fifth day. The Supreme Commander General has said Swedish armed forces are ready to use force if they detect any foreign submarine in the waters of the Stockholm archipelago. Sweden's Dagens Nyheter newspaper also published unconfirmed reports that there had been more than 100 sightings of a suspected submarine. Our last story comes from the United States, where federal officials have announced that all people traveling to the U.S. from Ebola-afflicted nations in West Africa will now have to fly into one of 5 airports. Upon their arrival, travelers from West Africa will be subjected to secondary screening and added protocols, including having their temperature taken before they can be admitted into the U.S. And that's it for this hour's World in 2 minutes. Goodbye.